Hey everybody, this is Push-Ups Part 2. I'm Dr. Wilson with the Wilson Clinic. If you're watching this video and you're just starting out incorporating more and more exercise into your routine and you want to start getting into being able to do push-ups and having that interlaced in your exercise, go back, watch Part 1. I talk about a lot of easy ways of the evolution of being able to do a push-up again. We deal with a lot of you guys with shoulder injuries, with spinal injuries, with muscle tears, with sometimes even arthritic conditions that have stopped you from being able to do push-ups for so many years. Your desire to get back to them is awesome. I encourage that. It excites me. However, we wanted to make sure we're doing it in a safe way, and we don't want you diving in so hard, so fast that you injure something even further. So, go back, watch Part 1. This is Part 2. We're still sticking with variations of push-ups to get not just the push-up accomplished, but varieties that are going to engage the core more, engage other muscle groups to get involved, so that the exercise is even better than just sitting there pumping out a bunch of push-ups. We want smart exercise. That way you're going to get the most out of it as a whole body. So Part 2 here is I'm going to give you 4 variations that don't require any special equipment. That way it's easy for you to do, not only for yourself at home without going out and buying a bunch of stuff, but also it enables you to be able to do these as part of your daily exercise, even if you're on the road. If you're traveling, you're visiting somebody, you're off in a hotel, you could still get this accomplished. So let's get to it. The first variation that we're going to talk about is elevating the feet. So your hands are still going to be flat on the ground, but we're going to kick the feet up on something. It doesn't matter what it is. It can be a chair, a stool, a couple steps at the house, on the bed for that matter. What that's going to do is that shifting of your body position to where the lower half of you is higher than the top half, it's going to move the focus of that exercise a little bit higher on the pec, a little bit higher to the shoulders, and it just changes that whole dynamic. You're actually going to be working the shoulders a little bit harder that way. So for this example, I'm just kicking it up this high, knowing that at home you can elevate more and more and more if you would like. But it's just going to look just like that. Still, form is important. Keep those arms in line and make sure you're going down and then all the way back up, not just cheating it part way. So, elevating the feet, there's one. The second, changing up the height of the hands. You can use anything. We're just going to use a block here today. What that's going to accomplish is by that offset, you're going to focus more of the work on one side compared to the other. That change of position is going to force your body to adapt differently. So we're not symmetrical, we're going to give it some asymmetrical challenge and have the muscle groups of the shoulder blades and the back and the arms, make them think about what's going on, and your brain is going to help adapt to that and engage muscles differently. This is a little bit more real world, because in the real world, life doesn't throw us a curveball that is like perfectly symmetrical all the time. Sometimes it's throwing us a wrench at an angle, and you want to be able to adapt to that in life. So, we exercise like life, right? Hand up on a block, other hand firm on the ground. You still want to keep your body straight. You don't want to start jacking your entire body and trying to do a push-up at a diagonal. You still want to go straight up, straight down, but you're going to have that one hand elevated. You're going to do a few of those, switch it over, make sure we do the same number on the other side. So, same thing, all the way down, all the way up, and then putting a different demand on the body. That was variation number 2. A third one is going to be a little bit more complicated. Now, you hang with me on this one because I like it for the sake of it's going to engage a lot more different muscles of the body, but also you have to have coordinated movement. So it's a whole nother level of the game. We're not just trying to engage muscle for strength, we're going to add a lot more movement into the body for sake of coordinated movement. so that the body becomes more and more stable as a structure, less likely to have injury. So this example is you're going to go down into a push-up, but when you come up, you're going to have to explode just a little bit so that you can bring your whole body up into a side plank. Arm can point straight to the ceiling. That way you've got a good amount of movement in the torso. This will engage your obliques quite well. And then you're just going to hold that for just a long second, and then you're going to drop right back down into a push-up, explode to the other side. Get into that plank position, come back down, explode back up, come back down, explode back up. By doing so, that pause in between, you're not going to feel it taxing the arms and the chest the same way as if you're just sitting cranking out a bunch of push-ups. But you're going to engage the core a whole lot differently. You're going to engage the shoulders differently because you're going to be bringing them out into a straight position. So it is a great way to give your body some variety. The last variation is not just with push-up. It's a movement. It's been called the alligator crawl. I kind of like that one because it does look like an alligator, but it involves the same muscle groups as push-ups would. You can incorporate push-up movements into it, but you're going to be walking on the ground in that type of position, low. I've also heard it called the Superman, because Superman kind of did the same thing. I'm going to show you an example of that, but here's what I want to make sure that you guys are aware of. You want to go forward and backwards with the movement. This is like a cross-crawl movement where it's opposite arm and leg doing the action. This is really, really important brain stuff. It helps your body become more stable, secure, and resilient to injury when we involve a lot of cross-crawl movements into our life. So, I'm going to show you an example of that. You're going to get down in that push-up position, right? But then you're going to activate that alligator crawl where you're going to come forward, one opposite arm and leg, and then come again, come again, come again, and then you're going back right out of it. You can go forward, back. If your room isn't very large, well, you're gonna do a lot of that up and down, but that's okay. It really gets the body engaged. It's a great little workout. There's your 4 variations that you can interlace into your workouts. I hope that stirs the pot a little bit for you. That way your body doesn't plateau and get used to doing the same thing day in and day out, and you get to have a little fun with your workout. So that's part 2 of the push-up video series. I'm going to be putting a 3rd one out. It's going to involve a little bit more of equipment. So if you have some of that equipment available, whether it's at your home or at the gym, it helps you to make good use of it in a way that's going to help you the most. So there you go. Have a blessed day, and we'll see you on the next one.